Well, our next guest, I would say, is really an American hero. Lara Rodas is a federal whistleblower who exposed government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded. I'm gonna say that again because it just makes it makes me want to cry. Actually, it's so disgusting. Lara Rodas is a federal whistleblower who exposed the Biden administration's government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child trafficking under HHS, under the Department of Homeland Security and HHS. And these unaccompanied children, their unaccompanied children program and funneling these children off to be sold into sex slavery and then ultimately killed. Well, now we know that George Soros-linked NGOs are suing to stop the Trump administration from cracking down on this child trafficking crackdown. They're going after it, trying to stop it. And George Soros-backed NGOs are stepping in the way. And Lara Rodas joins us now. Lara, great to see you again. Welcome back to the show. I always bring up your name because it's just so infuriating to me that you would stand up in front of Congress, you would blow the whistle on what the Biden administration was doing to traffic these children around the country, and they did absolutely nothing. Now take that a step further, and now they're actually trying to sue, not only doing nothing, but trying to sue, preventing the Trump administration from trying to find these children. What say you?
Yeah, well, first, Clayton and Natali, thank you so much for continuing to shine a light on this crisis of these children, because we aim to stop crimes against children. So thank you so much for continuing to air this story. And it is absolutely appalling that they are now trying to stop these crimes that are being committed against children and trying to stop the Trump administration from deporting MS-13 gang members and other members of transnational criminal organizations who we know began exploiting this system in early 2021. And I have to give credit to the very first person to crash the door, which was DHS whistleblower Aaron Stevenson. He began to notice a pattern in February of 2021 that members of the transnational organized crime watch list, so the TOC watch list, were beginning to sponsor children. So Aaron revealed that we had a national security threat in that we were allowing these criminals into our country, MS-13, 18th Street Gang, and other crime syndicates. And then worse, we're handing them off, right? We're allowing children to be handed off to them. So as I testified before Congress, this system was being exploited and it became a white glove delivery service of children to gang members and cartels. It's unthinkable. And now that they're trying to stop the crackdown of the new administration, it just shows you what they're really thinking. They don't care about the children. They don't care about the safety of Americans. They have become really supportive of MS-13 and other gangs. It's quite shocking.
Now, today is the 4-year anniversary of when you testified to Congress. And what you said essentially is, look, we're getting paperwork for children, and then I don't know where they go. And I can't verify that they're going anywhere safe. And I see them going with kind of ne'er-do-wells, and I have no way to check up on that. And this is a problem. 3 years later, because it's been about a year now since the Biden administration admitted we don't know where 300,000 kids are. They could have, if they'd listened to you 4 years ago. So in between 4 years ago and last year, they went ahead and lost these children and decided not to listen to you. That's incredibly frustrating for me. How must it feel for you?
Well, Natali, it's heartbreaking. And, for your audience, I mean, if I'm being transparent, I have cried a lot of tears, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I have looked into the face of frightened children. I've looked into the eyes of children who can't even speak Spanish. We are bringing indigenous children from Guatemala here, and they speak Mayan dialects like Quiche and Quechua. These children become a captive victim population. They have no access to law enforcement. They don't know their rights, and they are captives of criminal organizations. This is heartbreaking. And the fact that Aaron revealed this in February of 21, that it's
Right.
just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. The failure of the Biden administration when it comes to the safety and security of our nation, as well as the safety and the security of children. It's an absolute just horror. I mean, it has been heartbreaking.
So, and I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine what you've been through looking at these children and blowing the whistle on this, and the Biden administration did nothing to stop it. We see it from afar, you know, as journalists here on this show, and we speak to Aaron, we speak to you, and for many people, it's hard for them to even wrap their heads around this sick and sadistic world that these like pedophile elites are like running this operation, and it's all being facilitated by Alejandro Mayorkas and all of these billionaire funded NGOs. It's all just so disgusting. So now that's the past. They've done this. They're out of here. Now Trump is in charge. Kyle Seraphin, friend of the show, former FBI whistleblower, yesterday saying that he didn't feel that there was enough being done inside the administration from an FBI level to go after and find these children. Then you had the FBI, Kash Patel, coming out, I think today or late last night, saying that's one of our top priorities is to go after and find these children. So that message, I think, is getting through that Americans are fed up. I see so many people in the chat room right now. They're like, where's the FBI? Like, where's Bongino? Where's Kash Patel? Where's the Trump administration on this point? So that's the past. Do you think the Trump administration is now doing enough to try to find these children? Or are they being roadblocked by George Soros-funded NGOs? I feel like they could go around them. Tom Homan could give them the middle finger, go around these people and go find these children.
Yeah. Well, the great news is that they have begun going after, right, criminals who they know who have the kids, and they have been recovering children. So Stephen Miller discussed, you know, a very horrific story of this one young girl who was sponsored by someone claiming to be her family member. And of course, these are the same cases that we were putting forward. The kids were telling us they didn't know who they were going to. So the administration can say whatever they want. We were looking into the faces of the children, and the children were saying they didn't know. So I think, well, I know they're starting to go after, and they are recovering children. Here is the challenge, and this is why we need whistleblowers back. Garrett O'Boyle, Steve Friend, Aaron Stevenson, right? We need people because the data, this is going to require a whole of government approach. So when they are looking at one database, they're able to get some information. And the reason why, as Homeland Security Investigations is only about to find, they're saying about 5% of the children that they go after, it's because they're relying on just the release information from HHS. But there's a whole lot of other information at DHS, at DOJ, and also other information at HHS that unless you work there and were hands-on with the data, that you may not know. So right now, all the information is siloed. They haven't been sharing the information until now. And I think they just need some more people who work these sorts of crimes and intelligence experts like Aaron, who saw the pattern and can connect the dots. So it's going to be a whole of government approach looking at the data, and we can find not just the children, but the traffickers. And so this is something that I think that hasn't been done before, is taking an approach of targeting the trafficker themselves, because we know that the kids are being moved by these networks. So not to reveal tradecraft, but they can target in interesting ways the trafficker to find their products. And I think that's what people need to understand. And this was really shocking for me to learn that people view children as a money-making business, right? Yeah. That's what these gangs and cartels are about. They made money in drugs, they made money in guns, but they sell that one time. Once they have the child in their possession, they get to sell the child over and over again, every day, every week, every month, until these children are spent. And this is what's unacceptable. It's more lucrative for these predators and these bad guys to sell these children over and over again than to sell their drugs and guns. And so we've got to rescue these kids. We must save these children.
What do you think that looks like? I think I'm able to sort of see it as a group. I know they do this, groups of children. But if you find an incredibly damaged child, is there any way to find their family? Is there any way to rehabilitate that? Do we have the resources, or is there a group of people who do that? What is the hope in finding a child like this?
Yeah, well, Natali, that's such a great question. And I hope people will go watch the Sean Ryan show from yesterday with Tim Tebow. So Tim Tebow's organization, Yaku Buyan's, his ministry, they need, they have been doing this. Yes, these children can be rehabilitated. They need care, but they need trauma-informed care. So we need to not just rescue these children, but we need to care for them. Going through something this horrific requires a special type of ministry. And Yako, I know, has been on Capitol Hill. He's been at the White House. He's been posting from there. And his ministry has done such incredible things. And like I said, Tim Tebow yesterday on Sean Ryan, I think if people missed it, they should absolutely go watch it, because it gives a glimpse into this dark world of these crimes against children. And some of the children, I think people just can't fathom that some of these children are infants. They're toddlers. Yeah. These are defenseless children, and predators love to destroy the innocence of these children. And we're the only ones standing in the gap. And so we need people to make some noise, get loud, and stand up against Soros and all of his people who are trying to prevent the president of the United States from securing our border, from deporting high-level criminal actors and gang members, and saving these kids. It's unthinkable. I couldn't believe it when I saw the Breitbart story. I'm like, they're actively working to protect gang members and put children with predators. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I say it so often here, but I think maybe just repeating it enough times, people will, start to wake up about it. I think they can hear about illegal immigration, and they can, they can go and vote, and they hear about that. They know about egg prices. That's upsetting. Gas prices, all of that. But you're taking infants, you're taking babies, and you're shipping them off to these pedophile elites who are using them in sex slavery and discarding these children. I know it's hard to hear, but people need to wake up and pay attention to it and stop this, as the United States of America is one of the largest purveyors of this in the world. And it's happening with U.S. taxpayer dollars. We get upset about Doge things that they found, like circumcision classes in Ghana. Your money is being used for this through these NGOs. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. But I am heartened. At least I'm a glass half full kind of person. I'm heartened to hear what you're saying, which is that they have now been rounding up some of these people. I know there was a big sting operation. They caught 200 of them, which is great, about a week and a half ago. So my hope is that we can continue to keep the pressure on here. And I agree with you. We need people like Garrett O'Boyle back in there, Steve Friend, and others who saw how this was all done.
Yeah, let's lean into a little revenge fantasy, shall we? In certain African countries, now they castrate child predators. What do you think of that? Maybe we should try it. But I mean, when I hear your stories,
get Quentin Tarantino on that film.
I don't feel like that's a bridge too far after talking to you.
Yeah, well, I think that there are people who know what penalties need to be levied against people who commit crimes against children. And I'm not an expert on the penalty side, but what I will say, it needs to be sufficient enough to deter people from doing these things. And this is absolutely unacceptable. And this is the humanitarian crisis of our day. And that it is these crimes against children. And it's getting more and more and more. The problem is not getting less. The problem is growing. And people need to understand how to protect their children, because it's not just the physical possession of the child, which they get, but sometimes it's also sextortion through their phones. There's all kinds of things. And so I would encourage people to get in the fight and to understand how to protect their own families, how to protect their neighborhoods, and how to see potential trafficking situations. And if you don't mind giving me, I would love to give a plug to America's Future. Americasfuture.net will be traveling to Pennsylvania. We have a free event June 7. If people want to get in the fight, if they want to understand how to protect their own children against grooming, against sextortion, and then learn how to identify trafficking indicators, not so that they can intervene themselves, but so that they can say, oh, this could be an issue. I'm going to take a photograph. I'm going to then send that to my local law enforcement to let them follow up. How can they get involved with their local law enforcement? We're going to teach people how to do that. We want people to be able to protect children against predators. And so we're coming to Pennsylvania. We'd love to see people there.
Oh, well, that was a gracious answer, because I was going straight to the wood chipper. But.
Well, so many people in our chat room are like, no, castration's not enough. We need a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Tara, can you please tell me in Pennsylvania the date, time, and website if people want to come and see you? And I think Lara Logan's going to be with you as well, right? Is that
absolutely? Yes. General Flynn will be there. Mary Flynn will be there. It's going to be a fabulous time. It is americasfuture.net, americasfuture.net, and we will be there. It's just outside of Pittsburgh on Saturday, June 7, and it's a free event. And so Saturday, we want 7. To equip people to understand this fight. They have to be aware. You can't solve a problem that you don't know exists. So we want people to be aware, and we need them to know how to then combat what they're seeing once they become aware. So we want people to be able to protect their families, protect their children, and that's what we aim to do at americasfuture.net.
Americasfuture.net. Guys, go there. Everyone watching right now, bookmark that. Go to the website, help out, get the word out. If you're in Pennsylvania, come meet Tara, come meet Laura, come meet General Flynn. I think this is one of the most important fights in the United States right now. That's why we continue to cover this story and will not stop until none of these children, are grabbed off the streets or sold off into sex slavery again. So, Tara, great to see you. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing in this. We really appreciate it.
Well, Clayton and Natali, thank you so much for continuing to shine a light on this very important topic. So thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and I hope to, get to be with you in a couple of months with some more great news.
Oh, I'd hope so. Yes, that's the goal here. We'll be able to spread some good news in this. Tara, great to see you. Good luck in Pennsylvania, and thank you so much again for being here. We appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you. God bless.